All right, hello everybody. This is a live stream with Conor Rafferty, and so Conor Rafferty is an Irish Freedom Party candidate, and he's going to talk about the upcoming elections and just fill us all in on what has to be done. Okay, so go ahead, Conor.
Okay, Wally, thanks. I'm not actually going to be a candidate in the 26 counties general election, but I was a candidate in the 6 counties general election. We have at the moment 9 candidates in the 26 counties general election. We have candidates in Mayo, Clare, Kerry, 2 in Cork. There's 5 constituencies in Cork, and we've got 2 candidates. Cork West and what's the other one? Cork East, Cork Northwest and Cork East. What's that? 5 so far. We got Louth, we got Dublin Bay South, Carlow, Kilkenny, and Tipperary. Dolores Cahill and Tipperary, and Melissa O'Neill in Carlow, Kilkenny. Both of who have stood before and done very well for the first and. Well, actually, Melissa's been. Melissa's got great experience. She's a councillor, current councillor. She's been a councillor for 5 years, so she's got a lot of experience of representative politics, which is something that's a little bit lacking in the new party. So it's a very valuable experience. Okay, then we have the National Party. The National Party with 10 candidates across the centre of the country, and 3 in Dublin. National Party have got candidates in Sligo Leitrim, Roscommon Galway, Longford, Westmeath, that's the second in command, James Reynolds, Laois, Offaly, did I say that already? No, I don't think so. Laois, Offaly, it's 4 so far. 3 in Dublin, from memory, Dublin Northwest, Dublin Southwest, and Dublin South Central. And another 3. Where are the other 3? Let me just.
There's a question in the chat. Somebody says, "Is there anyone running in Dublin Bay North?"
Okay, watch this space. Watch this space. I'll say. We think there will be. We think there will be. The nominations close on Wednesday, so we've got until Wednesday, as you can imagine, because. The powers that shouldn't be threw this at us at the last minute and give us a very short time. We're playing catch up to try and get everything sorted out. Hats off to the National Party; they were slightly ahead of the game. They got the candidates out quickly, but we're all small parties, and we don't have the resources that the pillar parties have. So. And that's part of the strategy. That's obviously part of the strategy of the pillar parties to catch us off guard. Everybody knows that. So yeah, Dublin Bay North, I think we're going to have somebody. I think that's, I know the Irish Freedom Party are looking at a very strong candidate there. So watch this space. So the National Party, I covered some of their areas. I'm sorry if I can't remember the rest of them. I mean, that's, if any National Party members want to text in or put in the chat. Actually, I can't see the chat. Maybe I should bring up.
There's nobody in the chat at the moment. Well, there's a few
people watching. Okay, that's the chat over there. Okay, yeah. There's somebody. There's Cal. Now, fortuitously or on purpose, it's worked out quite well in that the 2 main nationalist parties are not standing against each other. And I sort of, I felt that might be the case, largely the case, because the National Party tend to have a strength in the middle of the country. And though Dublin was a bit of a surprise, actually, I was surprised to see 3 constituencies in Dublin. That's great. That's fantastic. Whereas the Irish Freedom Party, I predicted that they would be strong in the university towns and urban centres, which, yes, we have, like Louth, Dublin. Cork, but also what was a surprise coming through were the western fringes like Mayo, Clare, and Kerry, which is fantastic. We've got a few renew our standing in. I think it's probably about 14. According to the according to what I see, it's difficult to get their website isn't up to date, but according to a blog that I'm looking at, which has some out of date information on it, could be standing in 14 constituencies. DDI have 1 or 2, possibly coming in Louth as well. And then if you go down the pecking order, well, I'm going to get into trouble now, but the slightly less nationalistic. Okay, how can I say this politely, diplomatically? Oh yeah, of course, there's somebody saying about Gemma. Gemma's going to stand in Fingal. That's my understanding. I don't believe she's got any running mates in other constituencies. So she's just going to go put all her eggs in one basket, which is probably a good strategy, and go for it in Fingal. She got 4.5% last time. She's doubled her vote every time she showed up. So from 1% to 2%, from 2% to 4.5%. So if she doubles her vote again, that'll be 9%, and she stands a very good chance. Excuse me, of getting in. There's been a lot of talk about turnout. Don't judge the turnout by the by-elections, the recent by-elections. By-elections traditionally have a low turnout. I think they were like 20 to 25% the by-election, and that's typical. Maybe a little bit low on the low side, but that's typical. The general election turnout is typically 60 to 70%. So we would expect to see that, and that makes it unpredictable because you're not talking about just the party machine getting out. Obviously, for the by-election, the party machines, the pillar parties will bring out their, get their machines into gear. The general public aren't really that motivated because they know it's only one seat. It's not going to change the balance of power, and there's a lot less hoo-ha about it in the media. But of course, for this one, there's going to, this is all we're going to hear about for the next 3 weeks. So that's going to motivate a lot of people who aren't part of the party machines, aren't part of the membership of those parties. And it's important to start coming to terms with what we're up against here. The likes of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have got 30,000 members typically. Now, one of them, I think it was Fine Gael. Sorry, somebody could maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Has dropped its membership by about 20% over this past period of time. Let's say 3 or 4 years, which is a good. That's a good sign. I mean, it shows that the faithful are departing. You pardon the pun.
Yeah.
As you expect, anybody with a decent bit of moral fibre, wouldn't want to be stuck in that situation. But okay, so if you think about, I've been doing rough rule of thumb type calculations as to the strength in terms of numbers of the patriot movement. So looking at the membership of parties, I know the national parties have about 3,000. Ourselves, the Irish Freedom Party, would have been about 1,500, let's say. Gemma's party about the same. So we're up to 6,000 there. Renew's been around for a while, so they've probably got about 4,000. I don't know, probably on a par with the National Party.
Where did you get these numbers?
I've heard these are. I listen to everything. I've got an eye for detail. I worked in recruitment. I ran a successful recruitment business for years. Before that, I was a computer programmer. All my working life, I've been detail. I pick up these facts and figures, these statistics. So Justin would have said about Justin Barrett has quoted several times, many more than several, the membership standing about 3,000, and the party leaders have quoted these figures in their live streams. So on those first three, I'm fairly certain. The likes of Renew, that's just a guess. I'm not. They're not streaming. They're not using the new media or social media as much as the other three. So I'm guessing, let's say 3,000, because they've been around as long as the National Party, maybe a bit longer. So rule of thumb. So we're talking about 10,000 there in terms of party membership. Direct Democracy Ireland, a smaller party. Let's say there's 1,000 there now. It could be with Renew, but we're talking about the order of magnitude of about 10,000 signed up, paid up party members. Okay, we could be okay. So if you look at the social media, by far the social media with the biggest take up in Ireland is Facebook, okay, and around the Western world. It's the social media of Middle Ireland. Twitter's got a different demographic. Twitter is more intellectual type people, more people that are concerned about politics. They don't use it as to share their family life, and Twitter is not a family life thing. But more people have got a family life than are interested in politics, as you'd imagine. So therefore, Facebook, I don't know, at a rule of thumb, 80% of Irish adults are on Facebook, and maybe 10% are on Twitter. I mean, you could argue with those figures, but it's roughly the order of magnitude. Like one's got maybe 5 to 10 times the take up of the other. So so there's not much point talking about Twitter. Let's talk about the Facebook groups. Facebook groups. Me and some associates have set up Facebook groups. Our 3, 4, 5 Facebook groups would probably have about 2,000, 3,000 people in them. There's probably there's probably an overlap with, let's say, half of those people are already members of the parties. I don't know. So maybe that's like, it ends up maybe only 2,000. Then how many people are actually watching videos on YouTube? It's not going to be a lot. How many subscribers does Gran Torino have?
20,000.
20,000. Okay, let's say 10,000 of those are outside the island of Ireland. Would you say that's a bit fair?
Not necessarily, no, because he's like, I wouldn't expect that. It's like, if I had to guess, I'd say about a quarter, probably.
Okay, so between a quarter and a half are outside. So there could be 15,000 unaffiliated, maybe 10. It could be, okay, so what I'm saying is, like, social media supporters of the new nationalist movement is another who aren't already party members. We could be looking at 10,000, okay, give or take. So 10,000 signed up members, and then another unaffiliated 10,000. So total ballpark figure of about 20,000. It could be 10,000, with tweaking. Maybe some of those estimates are a wee bit inaccurate. It could be as many as 30,000. It's not going to be 50,000. Okay. So here's the thing: 20,000. We could be on, par, almost on the same order of magnitude as the main parties, in terms of people that are interested and bothered and passionate. We have lots of passion, but we don't have experience, right? They have not much. I would say they have not much passion. They've got probably a lot of loyalty, a lot of family loyalty, a lot of favors given and taken over the years. I mean, where's the belief? Where's the passion in Fine Gael? Where's the passion and belief? My sister asked me this about the other day. We had a long conversation about politics, and she said, "Well, what about the ideology of Fine Gael?" Well, there isn't any. There used to be. Maybe there used to be way back in the dim and distant past, certainly, in the birth of those parties, but not anymore. So what glues them together? It's a club. It's a club. So they're glued together by favors done and favors expected, and also family loyalty. It's like football teams. It's like supporting a football team. Nobody questions you about your football team, why you should support it. It's just there. It's just a thing that you do.
Yeah.
Reason can't be applied to prize somebody away from one football team and onto a different football team. Those people it's tribal. Go ahead. Sorry.
Can I do an experiment here? I just want to do something that I've never done before in a live stream, which is that I want to play one of Fine Gael's election videos and just get your feedback on it, right?
I don't want to do that. You play it if you want to, but I'm not gonna.
It's only about a minute or 2 minutes. That's all it is. Like, I'll share the screen and then I'll play it. Like, whatever. But
if you want to do it, I'm probably not going to have much to say on it because there's more important things to talk about. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, keep going. I won't play it.
It would be just going over old ground because, like, every time I switch on my computer, I see memes that are taking apart Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. It's old ground. We don't. This is what DT. I keep coming back to this. those 10,000 or 20,000 people, we do not need any more information. We have enough information to act, okay? And like what I was saying before the stream, we have a tiny moment in time, this next 3 weeks, to act before the next time we get a chance to act in a democratic electoral way, okay? 3 weeks, what is 3 weeks out of a year? 52 weeks, it's 8%. 3 weeks over 52 comes out about 7 or 8%, okay? 3 weeks over 5, okay, the next election could be as far away as 5 years. So 3 weeks out of 5 years is like 1 or 2%. So we have this, in all the time, this electoral cycle, we have a tiny 1 or 2% window of time. Probably that's what it's going to work out, 1 or 2%. It might, if this is a quick election, it might be 5%. But it's small. It's small. We have to recognize. I was trying to think of a metaphor. It's like we're under siege, right? Let's think about Asterix the Gaul. We're on that little promontory out in Brittany. We're under siege, and then the cousins from Cornwall or the cousins from Ireland show up in a big boat, right? But the tide's going to move, and we've only got 6 hours. So what do we do? And it might be like a year before the tides are going to be ready to come back again. What are we going to do? Are we going to like spend our time fighting the Romans, or are we going to get on that boat and get away? Okay, I mean it's a bit of a. I'm trying to use metaphor to get across the urgency of the situation. We have a way out potentially, or a way that's going to relieve the pressure, which is to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 would be an absolute miracle. 1 would be a miracle. 1 TD elected. Okay, but it's going to take. We have to recognize that this is a 3-week moment in time, and you don't, when you have these opportunities, you don't do what we normally do. You have to change the pattern. We have to recognize. So sitting and talking, criticizing Fine Gael's electoral propaganda, there's no fucking point. I know that looking at those 10 or 20, it's not required. Those 10,000 or 20,000 people, we do not need that. Who needs that is the other people. How many voters are there? Let's say there's 3 million voters, right? Now, 20,000 out of 3 million, that's not that. If we were all, do you know how big a constituency is? How many voters are in a constituency? Most people don't think about this. This is why we need to start thinking about these things, because it once if you're trying to build a house, you need to know how tall a brick is. If you know the brick's 20 centimeters tall, then you can work out how many bricks you need to build one room. Okay, if we want to build 3 rooms or a 2-story house with 6 rooms in it, how many bricks are we going to need? We need to be. Nobody's thinking about these things, or the people who are thinking about them are the party leaders. But because if we're going to take on the Fine Gaels and the Fianna Fáils, and even get 1 or 2 people elected, or even the smaller parties like the Social Democrats, the Sinn Féins, these 10 or 20,000 people need to switch on and start to become political activists over the next 3 weeks. Because if we don't, the 10, 50, the party leaders and the candidates and their closest people, that's not enough activists to do it. It's a bit like we've got like pictures in the background here of the Earth going around the sun. Let's say some scientists, we need the Earth is off its orbit, and we need to somehow get the Earth back onto its orbit. If we could get everybody in Eurasia to jump at the same time, or even only 10% of them, then we could push the Earth back onto its orbit. So we're in a situation where if 1% of the people jump, that's not going to be enough. But if we can get 10% of the people to jump, that will get TDs in. So the 1% who realize what needs to happen, and who have like us who know. Well, you're not going to change. You're not going to destroy the system with 10 or 20,000 people. You might destroy the system. I mean, with 500,000 people, but I would suggest the smarter thing to do would be to get 500,000 people to vote. That would be a lot simpler than get 500,000.
10,000 people. That's nearly as many guards as there is, and 20,000. That's more than that's enough. I mean, that's as much as the guards and the army put together.
We have enough people. but the people don't. Let's call it the.
We already outnumber the guards and the army put together.
We have enough people, but
and we definitely outnumber the paramilitary groups multiple times.
Oh yeah, and we're way above Antifa. There's no way Antifa should be intimidating people anymore. This is a mainstream. This has gone mainstream to that degree. Yeah, people are popping up all over there. People are out now knocking on people's doors.
Well, you see, this organic thing that we call a movement, like it's an organic thing. I wouldn't like to say that anybody owns it or that there's any central authority of this, because it seems to be an organic thing that's just rising up.
It's totally grassroots. Totally grassroots.
Yeah. And
there are leaders, but there's no one centralized leader with a hierarchy, and the person at the top says who comes and who. It's the people who have risen who have got positions of power. That's power through meritocracy, through their ability to lead and inspire people, to inspire, but also to do the boring work of calling people up, taking people's names, sending out emails, and just old-fashioned organization, bricks and mortar, flesh and bone, making phone calls, organization. So fair play to them. But the
thing is, like, this organic thing has grown very fast, hasn't it?
And why is that? Why do you think it's growing so fast?
I think it's because people in this country are so apathetic towards the political system in this country that they want radical change. They don't care. Like they go, what radical? They want to change the whole thing. Like they're willing to vote for people with very strong policies. Like, because people are so absolutely unhappy with the situation. There's loads of issues, like people getting ripped off through tax, like people struggling financially, like health services is a mess, schools are a mess, Gardaí don't do their job, the court systems is a mess, there's holes in every road, there's homeless situation, there's the housing crisis, there's landlords getting away with murder, there's cartels rigging the economy, I can go on and on, like corruption everywhere, like, and people are just sick of it. The average pleb is absolutely sick of this.
This is why, listen, when you're with most people, you're pushing on an open door. With most people, you're pushing on an open door. That's why it's growing. That's why it's growing so fast, because it's common sense. It's common sense to and our tormentors, our enemies are tiny but very vociferous. Tiny, very committed. We could learn a thing or two from their level of commitment. They're ready to die for their cause. Okay, they're ready to go to jail, die. They'll
I doubt that very much. Any is fucking want to put that into practice. Come today, right? Come today. I don't know. There's a bloke over there. I'll get something off him. I'll tell you fucking that. Right?
There will be some.
I doubt.
Okay. Oh, you call them out. Let's call them. We don't even look. Let's just say that when I was talking to you on Skype there, right, I was trying to put an emoticon in, and I looked down the very bottom list of the emoticon flags, and there's a flag for like ambigender, quasi-gender, dextri-gender, and all these. They all have their own fucking flag. Every gender has a flag now. Well, they died for that fucking flag. Clown World. Okay, let's get off the Clown World.
I don't get off.
Come on, man. All right, good. Okay, listen. This is obvious. Like it's people can see through it. Most people can see through it. The ones who can't are the ones that are in it, that are getting something out of it, that are brainwashed, the ideology has them. The left-wing ideology, or whatever it is, or the globalist or multicultural ideology has them blind, or the sense of injustice. Anyway, there's no point trying to. I'd say like potentially, this our ideologies. There's like 80% of Irish people. No, that's not necessarily people in Ireland, but 80% of the Irish people. Would, given enough time, given a proper argument, and proper arguments can, given the information that that these options exist would eventually come around. Some will come around very quickly, and some will take a long time, like a typical distribution, Gaussian distribution or long tail distribution. Sorry, the camera's all the way around, so I'll do it this. No, I can't work.
Pareto distribution, Venn diagram.
Is the Pareto? Is it the exponential Pareto decay, where it starts high and it sort of like goes down? I mean, you have to just imagine that flipped around the other way. This is my physics background getting into me. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So what was I trying to say there? Listen, sooner or later, 80% of the Irish people will, if presented with the information that we've been presented with, will come to the same conclusions. This is why the movement is going so fast. This is why, for most people, we're pushing on an open door. However, up till now, it's only been this 10 or 20,000 people that have had the opportunity to have the information, because the system is fighting back. The system, YouTube, for example, used to show the likes of your videos or Gran Torino's videos to new users of YouTube, new YouTube users. It doesn't do it anymore. Yeah, because they're fighting back. They're trying to keep it contained. They keep us contained in this 20,000. So every time you guys push out more videos, the number of new subscribers, new viewers coming in, it's not matching the number of videos. So you might think, well, if I do 10, I've done 5 videos, so if I double my output to 10 videos, then I'm going to double my audience. Now, if only it worked linearly like that, it doesn't. You're going to like get 1 or 2% per new video, and then the difference between your 100th video and your 150th video is going to be even smaller. The percentage point. Anyway, look, that's not the way. Okay, don't get me wrong, DT. You guys do a fantastic job, and I'm not suggesting for a minute that you guys stop creating content, because you have got us to this point, and you can keep. And you're doing a great job. It's important that somebody's out there putting information in. I think my gripe, and I did a Facebook thing, live thing on the election, was announced saying, calling out in a friendly way, in a friendly collegiate way, calling out the. Let me read this. Lovely horses. A few years back, there was very few voices to awaken the nationalist number. Beware of the risen people. Yeah, great fella, great fella. Now there are a lot, but unfortunately, because the system has changed. Keith Woods. I don't know if I can mention his name, but he's got himself into a bit of trouble lately, and I don't appreciate some of the way he's been carrying on. But however, he does make some good broader points. He talks about how the system, to attack the system sort of learns. There's what is it called? Anti-fragile. The system is anti-fragile. It's not fragile, so you can. Okay, number one, you can't attack. A fragile system is a system you can attack easily and it'll break. Okay, so we're not talking. The system we're up against is not that. It's not going to break easily. Otherwise, it would have broken already. Okay, it's not even tough. Where you start breaking it, and it keeps the same strength. Okay, so we work on our strength and start breaking it harder, and eventually it keeps the same strength. We grow our strength, and then we break it. Okay, that's. I can't remember what the second category was, but anti-fragile is something different. Anti-fragile is a dynamic system. So when you attack it, it learns. It's a bit like the way the body is designed with antibodies and the what do you call it system, the immune system, right? The immunity system. So a virus attacks and our body adapts to the virus and starts to create antibodies and eventually defeats the virus. So even though the virus starts coming in numbers, so an anti-fragile system, which is what the political and the established system we're up against, if your first attack doesn't work out, you're scuppered, because the system is dynamic and anti-fragile, and it's so intelligent within its networks and whatnot. It will take the information. We live in an information age. It will analyze that first attack and have its defenses prepared, like immunize itself against another attack. Even if your next attack is 10 times stronger, it will have prepared. It will have analyzed the first attack. So I can't remember where I was going with this, but where was it going with this? What was it talking?
Were you trying to explain that, like, whatever we're going to do, it has to work like the first time? Is that what you're trying to say? No,
well, maybe that's the case. That's an argument against taking any sort of
anything.
anything
The only way to do that is to build an army and then overthrow the state, which I don't recommend for legal reasons, obviously. But you know, but if that did happen, I'd absolutely wet myself until I create an ocean of piss in me jocks. If that fucking happened, I'd fucking laugh if this government went down in flames. Tell you no laugh.
It's not necessary. It's not even necessary.
But if you want to do it through the elections, obviously,
exactly.
They're going to be prepared. Like the first time, it'll be small. Next time it'll be a lot bigger. Next time after that it'll be a lot bigger. But in the meantime, they'll be adapting to all of our strategies and stuff. And I'm saying it's a bit weird that we all think that we're all part of something, but you know what I mean. But like the next time they'll be adapting, and the next time after that they'll be adapting, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay, this is Gene Sharp. A friend of mine gave me this book. It's a book that revolutionaries or reformers or radicals use, whether they're on the left or the right or whatever. It's Gene Sharp's. He's been involved in a lot of the colour revolutions. Now, you can agree with the ideology of the colour revolutions all day long, but the methodologies are the principles. One of the principles is never take on your enemy in an arena in which they're strong. So, in terms of military, you know, a military attack or a military revolution these days you're up against a state that's backed up by EU. Soon there's going to be PESCO. So that is the wrong, or even street fighting. This, you know, never those Antifa confrontations. They're willing us to fight. They're willing us to fight because they know that they're strong in that arena, not because they think they can win. They can win the street battle. They probably know they're probably going to lose the street battle. And we win the street battle. But if we win the street battle, that's even worse for us because they're going to win the overall battle. Because the battle these days isn't just a street battle. It's how that plays out. So that is, the street battle isn't just a street battle. The street battle is how it gets spun by the media, the establishment media, the corrupt media, how it gets spun by the NGOs, how the Gardaí will react to it, how the justice system will react to it, all of which are stacked against us. You know, we're not going to get a fair treatment of those institutions of the state.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
We win or we lose. So the whole thing is going to end up. It's a lose. So that's an arena where we don't engage. We don't engage in that arena whatsoever.
So we just let them assault us with impunity. Then
no, is that right? Don't be there. Don't be there.
But yeah, like they come to us and they stalk us and then they assault us. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, okay, it's only happened in a handful of cases. Most of the I haven't been assaulted. How come I haven't been assaulted? I avoid it. I don't stand on the front. I don't stand on the front line shouting and giving them the fingers and anything like that. I go to those meetings and I take the opportunity. The opportunity is there. Those meetings is to meet other patriots, other nationalists. That's the main thing for me. Is to network with people. It's a social occasion. It gets us off the bloody keyboards and out meeting each other to, create those bonds. Yeah, it's not about them. We need to use those. Okay, I'll make a wee point about that. The next one that's coming up, or any future ones that are coming up, this is where, because the elections is all about success in elections is always about having a good candidate and a strong team around the candidate. So, good candidate and a strong team. You need now a candidate's team isn't going to be now online. The people that I like that I gel with online. One might be I'm in Tyrone, one might be in Kerry, and the other one might be in Wexford. But those are not going to be, those friendships or bonds are no good when it comes to winning an election. I need 10 people around me in Tyrone. So, okay, Tyrone's not going to be let's say I lived in Louth. Okay, so I go down to the next protest, the free speech protest. If I live in Louth, I'm only interested in meeting other people from Louth that I don't already know, so I can add them to my notebook, okay, of people that I'm going to go canvassing with, that I'm going to rely on. We should only be focused on getting to create that team in all of these events. So that's my advice. That's what I recommend. Okay, so where was it? Yes. So back to our army of 20,000 patriots. Let's say there's 20,000 patriots. These 20,000 patriots spread over 40 constituencies. What's that? 2,200. Okay, 500. Let's say 500. There's 20,000 divided by 40 is 500. An average of 500 patriots per constituency. 500 patriots all voting for a patriot candidate is not going to be enough. That's not going to get that candidate home. Those 500 people in the constituency. Let's forget about national. Let's only talk about constituencies, okay? Because that's the unit of operation. Okay, that's the battleground. There's a whole lot of different. Over the next 3 weeks, there's going to be 40 battlegrounds, or maybe 20 or 25, because the patriot candidates aren't standing in every constituency. So we're talking about 20 to 30 separate battlegrounds. And what happens in one battleground is not. We could be winning in one battleground, but that does not affect, for one moment, what's happening in Kerry. What's happening next door in Cork doesn't affect really what's happening in Kerry. So they're independent. So let's break it down, the abstraction down to the local constituency. If there are 500 people who would vote for a patriot candidate, okay, those 500 people are likely to eventually find out who the patriot candidate is and know who the patriot candidate is, if there is one in their constituency or not. Okay, that's cool. The other, let's say there's 80,000 people in the constituency, and there's like 60,000 are going to vote. It's going typically it's taken like 10,000 votes to get somebody to get a TD, to get the fourth or fifth TD elected. So we're talking about 500 patriots who are in the know, but we need 5,000, or let's say 10 times. Let's say 5 to 10,000 votes. So let's be generous to ourselves and say we only need 10 times the amount of people who actually exist. Okay, what I'm trying to say is those 500 patriots, voting is not enough. Each one of those patriots, on average, needs to go out and win 10 votes with the Joe public. And that's only 1 in 10 of the total electorate. So it's easy to do. If those 500 people went round and covered every house in the constituency, there's 50,000 houses, let's say, in the constituency. So that's 100 houses each. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. If all those 500 people got off their asses and did it, yeah, and formed themselves, and this is where we're way behind because we've spent too long on the keyboards and we haven't even got fit. Up till a month ago, we probably didn't even have. Well, maybe I think the National Party were smart. They were ahead of this. They were working away on this in the background. But even then, there's many National Party followers who didn't really realize or didn't listen or didn't answer the call. And they could have done so much more. Okay, let's hope that what they've done is enough. But anyway, now I'm putting it out there. Those 500 patriots, voting is not going to be enough because there's only 500 of us. 500 votes is not going to be enough to get a TD elected in your constituency. No way. It's 5,000 to 10,000 votes. So each one of us needs to go out. If everybody gets into action, of course, not everybody's. Those 500 people, you're going to have the same Pareto distribution or whatever it's called. Everybody needs to try and get active to some degree, right? So there's going to be absolute heroes who do 1,000 houses, yeah, who do 10 times or 20 times or 30 times more than their fair share, like in 80-20 rule. Like it's 20% of the people who do 80% of the work. Okay, but I'm saying to you guys out there, be in that 20%, or get active, join. We need to cause a miracle here. We need 10,000 votes would cause that miracle to get that TD elected. But I'm just making people aware of the gap between what we have. Now I know that there are the parties are out there canvassing away, I don't know, some of them might have 50 people working for them, canvassing with them. Some might only have 5. Don't leave it to the 5 or the 50. Let's all get out there. It's only for 3 weeks. And like I said, we're only talking about a tiny, tiny, tiny window to affect change. So, some people are making terrible, big sacrifices. People are putting the candidates are putting their lives on hold. They're raising their heads above the parapets. They're taking financial risks. They're taking career risks. They don't know which way this is. They don't know what sort of bullying they're going to get from the other side. But here's the thing: the more people stand up, then the harder it is for them to single one person out, because they're just going to be demoralized at the end of it all. And the bullying has less and less effect. How can you bully if 10,000 people or 20,000 people stand up? How can you bully? How can a small cadre of 500 far leftists? How can they bully 10,000 or 20,000 people? Who are they going to choose? Who are they going? There'll be enough people standing up and vocally saying, "Yeah, we're on this new nationalist side of things." That it normalizes it. We need to do a bit of a Spartacus job here. So yeah, that's what I want. I want people to realize is that our numbers are not enough to just vote and think that you've done enough by voting. The vast majority of people have. You try it. Stop and ask somebody. Go and stand in the middle of your local town, right, with a clipboard or a jotter. Just mock something up. Just get an old jotter or something like that. Pretend you're doing a survey and just ask people. Don't try and convince anybody. Just ask people. Excuse me, can I ask you a quick question about the election? Yeah, okay. Have you ever heard of the National Party? No. Have you ever heard of the Irish Freedom Party? No. Have you ever heard of Renewal? Whatever your favourite party is, or all 3 of them, or all 4 of them, or whatever, or Niall McConnell. If you're in Donegal, let's say it's Niall McConnell. Have you ever heard of Niall McConnell? And check the level of ignorance of us. It will astound you. It will astound you. That, but that's not their fault. That's not their fault. Now, you could say it's the media's fault because the media don't give us any courage. Okay, that's like saying I don't like the rain. It's the circumstances. Hell, there's rain or there's snow. I don't like you, snow. That's just what it is. Okay, so we can take responsibility. We could be the agents for change that say, right, if we get only 10 or 20% of these people to maybe say 30% to know about us, then 5 or 10% of those will probably vote for us. If everybody knows about us, then 20% will vote for us, and that's enough to get a TD in, no problem at all, no question. It's a question of ignorance. The general public are ignorant to our existence. This is what people don't get, because if you hang about in Facebook, if you in the groups, if you hang about watching the videos, you think that there's a lot of people who think the same way. There is, but a lot of people, is 20,000, and it needs to be 500,000. The general election is our opportunity to, as that 20,000, to inform the 500,000 of our existence. That's all that's required. Just inform them of our existence with flyers, with a quick conversation. Now, if somebody is listening and wants to and asks you a question about, then listen. We have how many hours of videos? How many millions of lines of text have we read? We can give answers. Yeah. And if you don't know how to do that, you need to start. Now, the first time you start giving answers, you might be going in at far too high a level, far too, too much information. You need to be able to dumb down your level of analysis for the man in the street and give them things that they can relate to, statistics. Join up the dots. Mass immigration. Okay, so what about the health service? How would mass immigration affect, if there was like 500,000 more people here than there were like 10 years ago, how would that affect the health service? How would that affect the housing market? Just simple little things like that. I know we've had this before, DT. It took you longer than five minutes, okay? Maybe it took me longer than 5 minutes. A lot of people, when they're presented with when they're presented with a simple argument like that, and they see the state of the country, they're going to go, okay, yeah, I hadn't thought about that before. And it's as much, a lot of people will quickly get that, but they just don't know. I see this I go into normie groups on Facebook because I'm sick of hanging out in echo chambers. I've seen enough to know that the change is required. Okay, all of us have seen enough to know the change is required. So it's time to get off the sofa and actually do the change. And how we do that change is we reach out to the other 2.5 million voters who haven't heard of us. Now, 20% of them will slam the door in your face. Some of them will be diehard supporters of Fine Gael. They'll call you whatever. Some of them will be youngsters, Greens or whatever. They'll call you whatever. Just ignore it. Okay, on. You'll they probably won't even be that nasty to you on the doorstep, because most people aren't, face to face. They don't behave the same way face to face as they behave online. And bear in mind, you're seeing online, if you get attacked by a troll, you're seeing the most virulent, the most angry, the most upset fucker. The diehards. Yeah, there's only very few of them, that exist, but they're completely dedicated to trying to stop us. Their tactic is to try and stop us talking to the public. That is their only tactic. They know that once we start talking to the public, they are scuppered. They have no. That's their only tactic. So we need to stop fighting with them and just start talking to the public, because that is talking to the public. Most of the public will agree with us, and we only need 10% of the public to agree with us in the election, and we'll get TDs in. 1 TD is a triumph in this general election. 0 is a defeat. That's how close. Triumph, defeat. 0 and 1.
No, I wouldn't say it's a defeat. Like I'd say along the same lines of Patrick Pearce, to fight is to win. Like, we didn't fight before. This is the first time we're in the election now. So
well, let's make our aim. Okay, to fight is to win. But I think a lot of people aren't going to fight, or they're not going to fight effectively. And if everybody got off their ass, and if we mobilised like those 500 people, patriots that are sitting in each constituency, if we mobilised half of them, and those 250, in any group of people, you're always going to get the lazy and the timid and the scared. Okay, forget about the lazy and the timid and the scared. Let them be lazy, timid, and scared. If you've got an ounce of energy, balls, and courage, then your job is to get out, and some of you will knock on 10 doors and maybe get 1 vote. Great, you did something. Some of you will knock on the heroes will knock on 1,000 doors and get 100 votes. Those are the heroes, and most people will be somewhere in between. Okay, now, even if we lose and we don't get any votes, at least we will have done good groundwork for the next time round, because all those people that we've talked to will now be tuning into you over the next 5 years. We'll be now tuning into Gran Torino. We'll now be okay. Things might change. We might have to migrate to BitChute. We might have to migrate off Facebook onto Telegram. But we might go back to Niles. It might be the censorship might be so great that we're back to like passing secret samizdat's, the old word, the word in the Soviet for the secret propaganda, the propaganda, the anti-communist propaganda or information. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, man. Thanks, Fight for. Yeah. No, because I see that a lot of people that are just, and in a way, it's YouTubers. I know I'm not going to come down hard on you, but because it's your world, it's the YouTubers' world is research, and intellectual. It's an intellectual world. It's not a practical get out and knock on the door. You're not aware of these strategies. It's not part of your life. A lot of the YouTubers are anonymous as well. So they have their voice in their channels, but they don't have a voice on the street or with the public. And that's the other thing as well. We need to get acquainted with the public. A YouTuber really should. This is what I love. I'm really curious to see how Niall gets on when he talks to. I want to hear how he gets on talking to the public, because Niall's a very likable sort of like public. He's good. He's great with people. So, and I went through this as well. I went through this in my own campaign 2 or 3 months ago in mid Ulster. You learn so much talking to the people. Even though I had done sales before, even though it was no problem for me to like call up companies and try and get business in my business and talk to people on the phone, I still had the butterflies. Oh, and I'll tell you another thing as well. The hardest people to talk to are the people in your own parish. For the people in your own family and friends, listen, forget it. You've already talked to them. Forget about them. Go drive if you're really worried about this. Volunteer for a canvassing team, and your first canvass should be at the other end of the county where nobody knows you, because you're freer. You're not worried about what people are going to say. If you fuck up, if you get tongue tied, nobody knows you. You're at the other end of the county. Make life easy. Use those people at the other end of the county as your test bed, right? When you get more experience and more confidence, then come back and talk to your own, your own local crowd, your own parish. Yeah. So that's some advice. So I think if we all, it's not even necessary that 100% of us jump up at the same time, but if even if 10% of us jump up at the same time, we can get this planet kicked back into its orbit. I mean, I'm using the metaphor of like concerted action. We have been dumbed down. We're not. There was more. It was easier to do concerted action 100 years ago because people did not live atomized lives where they went to work. Okay, you cooperate at work, but then people go home and they don't cooperate on the bus. They don't talk to each other on the bus because like mass immigration and dislocation of people. You don't know the people that you're traveling with. You've moved yourself to a city. You're driving in your car. It used to be like people worked within 10 miles of their home or 5 miles of their home. Now people are doing all these big commutes. It's all globalization. We've become far too disconnected, and we're bad at this. If you take the people from 100 years ago and pop them into our situation now, they would and then get them up to speed with all the technology and all the rest. It would be natural for them to say, okay, this is what we need to do, and they would go about doing it because they were more social, they were more used to concerted action. Now we live in the age of the ego, where every man a child is brought up to think that they're the king and queen of some sort of like it's a good term you used in one of the streams there a while ago. I think it was UDT, like a secret king or queen, a secret prince or princess. Where all of us have got have that slightly egotistical upbringing because of the new extra smaller families and coddling and the coddling of the American mind, the coddling of the Irish mind, etc. The snowflake, all of us have got it to a certain extent. This is the way society has been going. People from 100 years ago, they would have taken this opportunity and they're better at collaboration. We're better at collaboration. They marched. They went on pointless, boring marches, but they knew they were prepared to put in the hard, boring work because they knew it was going to get somewhere. We need to take their lead and do the hard, boring work. I mean, everybody wants to sit in a bedroom and talk about, nice ideological things. Sure, that's a pleasure. Yeah, that's that's a nice thing to do. In this era, but
keep going, man. Keep going.
Yeah, where was it?
I just for the record,
hard work. Sorry, man, for shutting over.
Yeah, sorry, like I don't remember using that term in any streams, so you're probably thinking somebody else. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
There's a guy, Fight for Error, who's been out speaking to people. Well, speaking for myself and my own experiences, anyone I've talked to are very open-minded, and most agree outright straight away. So there's a guy. He's out there. He's doing it. And he's reporting back that it's easy. Now, Fight for Error, my question is, how are you talking to strangers or people that you know? Or did you start talking to strangers? How were the people that you know in your life? Was there any of that sort of dichotomy? And while he's answering me, what was I talking about? Yeah, okay. So the other thing was hard work.
You're on the spot now, Fight for Error.
Yeah, well, okay. we'll take the pressure off because this is what I've learned through sales and things like that, not to put pressure on people. And just communication and interviews and whatnot. I used to lead I was a recruitment consultant, so I would interview people and try not to. There were times when I would want to put them on the spot, but for mostly when I'm just gathering information, and it's not to put people on the spot, and that's these things come. These strategies, it's like riding the bike. They come to you whenever you start dealing with people on the doorstep. They'll come to you naturally. You don't need a lot of people. If you're a left brain type or an analytical type, you'll try and have it all worked out. All you need to do is like learn off the 10 or 20, 4 or 5 key points on the leaflet that you're working off, that the party gives to you, and all you have to do is report to the party, and they'll probably, some of them, the more organized ones, will have. I know Melissa O'Neill, for example, she's got a lot of experience in canvassing. She would give her canvassers some basic canvassing training, and put them through their paces a wee bit before and maybe even have what I would like to do if I was working again in a slightly bigger team would have sort of like different levels of apprenticeship. So in your first day, if you're completely new to it, then you're maybe in your first hour, you're not expected. If you don't want to, you don't have to talk. You go out with an experienced canvasser and you just listen. Then gradually you do the easier ones with the support of a canvasser with you, and then after that, maybe when you're ready to fly on your own, you go off and do your own. Maybe for somebody that's even too worried to go on the doorstep in front of people, they do some just leaflet drops at the start, anonymous leaflet drops. So you can have build for yourself or with the parties or the people that you're going canvassing with a series of levels of activities that build the confidence and build the courage and build the information up over time. Yeah, so you don't have to jump in the deep end and address a public meeting of 50 people, and you just walked out of your bedroom and you never talked to anybody about politics before in your life. No. You work your way up through the levels and insist on, only do things that you're comfortable with, but be ready to see improvements. Be open to the fact that you're going to improve, because it's natural. It's like we are learning machines. Human beings are learning machines. We learn a lot from doing. Okay, I think I've covered a lot there. I'm really grateful, DT, of the opportunity to do this. Okay, I'm seeing again, people. I think I'm making sense with people are getting some feedback. I don't put. I know in the past. No, I mean I've said enough. I'm going to sit back and give myself a breather and see what comes in see if you've got any questions or anybody's got any questions.
Okay.
Maybe that's all I need to say. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, well, we're coming up to an hour now, but okay, so let's go through the chat. I'm going to go back to the start of the chat just because see what people are saying. I'm just going to go through all this. Okay.
Oh no!
Is anyone on the Dublin Bay North? No, there's not. Well,
not yet. There is going to be. I think there's going to be somebody. Because I'm privy to some sense of insider information. I don't want to say too much until it gets announced. But look, the deadline for nominations is Wednesday, so you're going to know soon enough. Okay, I would say there's a strong possibility there will be an Irish Freedom Party candidate in Dublin Bay North.
Right. Okay. What's the story with Gemma's ACI?
What's the story? As far as I know, she's running Dublin Fingal. She doesn't appear to have any other candidates running with her. Maybe that's a good thing, because then she can focus all her resources in the one place. And I think she's got a chance. She's got a good chance. But, I was reading in one of the blogs, this Adrian Kavanagh guy. Was it Adrian Kavanagh? Maybe it was on Wikipedia. There was a candidate who I didn't know who she was. She was running as an independent, so I did a bit of in Clare, I think it was. And I went and read her biography. It was like a political candidate, it's like a footballer. You see where they started at a non-league club when they were 16, and then they got signed to a first division club, and then they had a fantastic season, and then they got signed to a Premiership club, and then they had a glittering career. So you can see these progressions. You can see they start out falteringly, got 1,000 votes in their first time out in a general election, but then like 15 years later, they're 15,000 votes top the poll. So like anything in life, if you stick at it and work hard and you've got the raw talent, you can get there. So Gemma, she's doubling her vote every time. I think the first time out she got 1%. That was in the MEP elections in Dublin. Then she moved to a different constituency, Dublin Fingal. I'm not sure if that was part of the European. I'm not sure. Maybe it was. She got. Hang on. No, she got 4.5 the last time. I think she got maybe 2% the first time, and then 4.5. So she's more than doubled her vote. If she doubles her vote again, because sometimes you only need to do the same. Elections are like that. Part of it is the residual. You'll find that some of the Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil TDs will get elected, and they'll get elected, and they'll do less canvassing and talk to less people on the doorstep than maybe the National Party, and maybe the National Party guy or IFP guy or girl in that constituency doesn't get elected, that's not because of the work. That's because of the residual knowledge that people know that these. It's just as simple as knowing that they exist. A lot of people are busy with their lives. You know, they're just okay. I only know Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, and to save myself having to sit down and read the paper and analyse, I'm just going to go with what my dad used to go with, or what my family have always gone with, and that's how some people make up their minds. So it's just about residual knowledge that these parties exist and a bit of tradition. But Gemma's, the more you do, then the more you build up that tradition. So this is why I'm saying, and you're right in a way, because like zero could be a result, could be a success if and only if we play full out and we get out there. Because if we do get out there and we nearly get somebody elected, then it's going to be far easier to get that same candidate to get elected in the same constituency the next in 5 years' time or 3 years' time, whatever it is, because people remember. Oh yeah, I remember this weird fella from County Tyrone came to my house wearing a pink suit, and he was talking fast and waving his hands about and talking about Irexit and stuff like that. And at first I couldn't understand him, but then he slowed down a wee bit and asked him a few questions, and then I could get it. And he explained to me why that would be a good thing. For all the, I'm not going to go into all the reasons. Okay, so that was Conor Rafferty, and okay, that was the Irish Freedom Party. Oh, and I see he's standing again. Okay, yeah, right. Well, you know, that makes it easy for me, because I nearly voted for him last time, but then I voted for Fianna Fáil, but Fianna Fáil have fucked it up for 5 years. So you know what? I'm going to give Rafferty the vote this time. So you get that residual thing. So over time, you know, Gemma's chipping away, and she'll get there eventually. Like, you know, she'll get, there's no question she's got the ability. She'll refine her message maybe a wee bit. Maybe, I don't think there's anything needs refined about her message, but maybe she'll run up against the ceiling somewhere, and then she'll realise she has to wriggle around a wee bit, refine the message, or refine her technique, and then she'll keep going. You know, she's got the, as I keep saying, this message is popular. It's just that enough of the 2.5 million, 3 million voters don't know about it, don't know about us. Maybe Gemma's a different story up there, but, because it should probably be a bit better known. But just try it. Stand and ask 20 people in your town, 20 random people. Just count 20 random people who walk past. Get a good spread of people and ask them, have you heard of the National Party? Have you heard of the Irish Freedom Party? You will be surprised at how little people have heard of us, and that will bring home to you. The job isn't to sit in these 3 weeks, to sit and have more live streams about how terrible things are and all the things that are wrong. No, in a way, I would love to see that all the YouTubers only talk about election technique for the next 3 weeks.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, but this guy was pissing me off. Okay, I'm sorry, but I have to defend my position as a YouTuber, and I got sick of him because they're banned. Now, let me speak. I've listened to him for a whole hour, right? A whole hour of him rambling, right? A whole hour of it, right? The people that are in the parties, it's obviously they have undertaken to do this stuff in this election. There's other people that are making social media content. And the guy just pisses me off. It's just openly disrespectful when you're going for an election to represent the people, that you ramble on for an hour without actually bringing the person that you're talking to into the conversation whatsoever. Okay? So that's one thing. And the other thing is, what am I doing for the election? Okay, I emailed the National Party, do you want any help in where I am? And they haven't emailed me back. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? So yeah, he's pissing me off, like, you know what I mean? I know he's a good strategist, like, but it must be a really brilliant strategist to reveal all this awesome strategy when the enemy is watching our live streams, you know? Because now they know everything he's planning, you know? And what else? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm going to say it again. Like, you know, like his use of inflammatory language of like running down people that is making YouTube videos and running down people that running down our own side by saying things like, oh, we're all timid and we're all cowardly and we're all shit like this. We're fucking not. Like, This is a controversial area of politics. You get personally attacked for even advocating this stuff. You get called outrageous names like racist and like homophobic and all this. Like you get called all these names. You get physically assaulted. You get impersonated on the internet. You get sacked from your job. You get potentially locked in prison. If you have a council house, you lose your council house. If you're working for a state institution, you fucking get kicked out of your job or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? You get kicked out of college or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Where these people know that you take these fucking risks and they do it anyway. Right? This is not timid people. This is not people that are afraid to fucking knock on, quote, 10 fucking doors and only as practice and then go home. What kind of fucking people does he think he's fucking dealing with? Right? You know what I mean? And just as an aside there, right? If he worked it out that we have like 500 people in each constituency, right? That's more than that's more than some of the dissident paramilitary groups put together, right? And these are all the young people, and they're all fucking nearly half pensioners now, right? So I don't think we're out of fucking options whatsoever, right? So fuck anyone that says we're out of options, right? And my last point is that he says if we get 0 TDs, that's a defeat, right? It's not a fucking defeat, right? Because this is the first time we're running an election. What the fuck do you expect to happen the first fucking time, right? I said we're going to use it as practice to fucking it's fucking practice just to introduce these candidates to the public consciousness. That's the first fucking time. What do you expect? What the fuck do you expect the first fucking time, like? You know what I mean? It's a fucking when he makes this phrase, it's a defeat if you get 0 candidates. They fucking all these lefty freaks or a handful of minority of them that go on the internet, like they'll fucking clip that out of my fucking video and play it back after we don't get any TDs, and they play it back and they'll say, fucking, laugh that you didn't get any TDs, it's a defeat, you know what I mean? And have fucking big words across the screen and all this shit, like, as if we fucking care, right? Because it's his stupid choice of language, right? This arrogant fucking idiot that spent an hour rambling and didn't involve me in the conversation whatsoever. And I have the right to say that because I brought him on to fucking have a conversation. And he's running for government to represent the Irish people, and he rambled for a whole fucking hour without even listening to any fucking thing I wanted to say, right? He didn't, like, I didn't exist in the conversation as far as I was concerned, and as far as he was concerned as well, right? Now, I wouldn't use that word defeat. I think actually running in this election on the first fucking time is a victory, right? Looks like Patrick Pearse says, to fight is to win. To fight is to win. They're getting practice. They're introducing themselves to the public consciousness. They're getting experience, they're getting organised, they're getting serious for a change, right? It's fucking, that's how you fucking do it. What do you expect, like? You know what I mean? Why aren't I having this out with him? Because I banned him from the studio, he can't come back. Who cares what they say? I don't give a fuck what they say, like. No, that's it, like, you know what I mean? Blocked. Yeah, I did kick you off, wanker you. Like, tough shit. And as far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't have banned Keith Woods, right? Tell you now from your Twitter page. But yeah, well, that's it, like, tell you now, lad. So, do you have any questions for me? It is. Right, I'm gonna play the intro. Post your questions and I'll answer them after the intro, right? Well, I made a new intro just for this stream, so, well, fuck it anyway. So, no questions, right? I'm off. See yous. Bye.